Welcome back to our channel, your premier destination for the most comprehensive and thrilling updates from the dramatic world of Genoa City. Today is a magnificent day to dive deep into the corporate warfare and shattered relationships currently dominating the landscape. The corporate corridors of Chancellor Winters have always been a battleground for ambition, legacy, and power, but the current atmosphere is suffocating under the weight of an impending apocalypse. Lily Winters, a woman who has spent her entire life navigating the treacherous waters of the elite business circles, has finally reached her absolute breaking point. For weeks, she has watched with growing horror as Billy Abbott's reckless crusade threatened to dismantle the very foundation of the empire she is sworn to protect. Jill Abbott's recent return and subsequent demands placed an unbearable burden on Lily's shoulders, forcing her to choose between her lingering affection for Billy and her duty to the company. The ultimatum she previously delivered was meant to be a final warning, a desperate plea for Billy to abandon his destructive path and cease his relentless provocations against Victor Newman. However, Billy's delusional arrogance and insatiable thirst for control have rendered him blind to the catastrophic consequences of his actions. Realizing that mere threats are entirely insufficient to halt his crusade, Lily has made a monumental decision that will forever alter the trajectory of their lives and the future of Chancellor Winters. The transition from a stern ultimatum to a lethal legal strike marks a profound evolution in Lily's character. She is no longer the patient mediator or the sympathetic confidant. She has transformed into a ruthless corporate executioner. The psychological toll of this transformation is immense. Lily has spent countless sleepless nights agonizing over the destruction of her relationship with Billy, a man she once loved and trusted implicitly. Yet, the survival of the company and the protection of her family's legacy must take precedence over personal sentiment. The realization that Billy is willing to burn Chancellor Winters to the ground just to satisfy his obsession with uncovering buried secrets has extinguished the last remnants of her compassion. Lily's decision to terminate Billy's employment is merely the opening salvo in a much larger, far more devastating campaign. She understands that stripping him of his title will not stop his relentless digging or his dangerous leaks to the press. The execution of Lily's plan is a masterclass in calculated corporate warfare. In a move that sends shockwaves through the executive suites of Genoa City, Lily orchestrates a surprise legal assault that leaves Billy entirely defenseless. She files a comprehensive, aggressive lawsuit in civil court, directly challenging and disputing Billy's outrageous claims of ownership over Chancellor Industries. The legal filings are a brutal repudiation of his entire narrative, meticulously dismantling his assertions that an ancient, unpaid loan from John Abbott entitles him to the keys to the kingdom. But Lily does not stop at a mere ownership dispute. Recognizing the immediate danger of Billy's unchecked access to sensitive information, she successfully petitions the court for an emergency injunction. This restraining order is a gag mandate of unprecedented scope, legally prohibiting Billy from continuing his rogue investigations into the company's archives and explicitly barring him from disseminating any internal information, rumors, or corporate secrets to the public or the media. The moment Billy is served with the lawsuit is one of the most visceral and dramatic turning points in recent memory. Standing in the very office he believes is his birthright, Billy is confronted by the cold, undeniable reality of Lily's wrath in the form of a thick stack of legal documents. His initial reaction is one of absolute, unadulterated shock. The man who has spent weeks operating under the delusion of invincibility, convinced that his historical loophole was an impenetrable shield, is suddenly brought to his knees. The shock rapidly metastasizes into a blinding, consuming rage as he reads the stipulations. Billy views Lily's lawsuit not just as a professional obstacle, but as a profound personal betrayal. In his warped perspective, he is the righteous crusader fighting to reclaim his family's stolen legacy, and Lily has positioned herself as the ultimate traitor. The confrontation that ensues is explosive, filled with bitter recriminations and the shattering of whatever fragile respect remained between them. Billy vehemently declares that he will fight this injunction with every ounce of his being, promising to turn the impending legal battle into a public spectacle that will drag Chancellor Winters through the mud. This public legal war threatens to unleash a torrent of collateral damage that Genoa City is ill-prepared to handle. By dragging the ownership dispute into the harsh light of a courtroom, Lily and Billy are inadvertently setting the stage for decades of buried secrets to be exhumed and scrutinized by the public. The discovery process alone will require the unsealing of highly confidential financial records, historical contracts, and personal correspondences dating back to the eras of Catherine Chancellor and John Abbott. Every skeleton hidden in the corporate closets of Chancellor Winters and the Abbott family is now at risk of being exposed to the highest bidder. The media frenzy surrounding the lawsuit will be relentless, feeding on the scandalous details of the bitter feud between former lovers and corporate titans. The threat of Victor Newman capitalizing on this public vulnerability looms larger than ever, as the Newman patriarch watches the chaos unfold with predatory anticipation, waiting for the perfect moment to launch a hostile takeover while his rivals destroy each other in court. The emotional fallout of this legal warfare extends far beyond the boardroom, creating deep, irreconcilable fissures within the social fabric of Genoa City. The relationship between Lily and Billy, once characterized by deep mutual understanding and romantic affection, is now completely, irreversibly annihilated. There is no path to reconciliation, no possibility of forgiveness, after such a public and brutal legal disembowelment. The toxicity of their war forces everyone in their orbit to make impossible choices. Family members, lifelong friends, and corporate allies find themselves dragged into the crossfire, compelled to choose sides in a conflict where loyalty is demanded and neutrality is considered treason. The Abbott family, already fracturing under the weight of Billy's erratic behavior, is pushed to the absolute brink. While Lily leads the frontal legal assault, Kane Ashby operates in the shadows, executing a brilliant and devastating counterattack of his own. Fueled by a potent mixture of lingering romantic devotion to Lily, a fierce desire to protect the company, and a deep-seated, simmering fury toward Billy Abbott, Kane refuses to rely solely on the slow machinations of the court system. He understands that Billy's entire claim rests on the premise of an unpaid historical debt, a narrative that Billy has weaponized to terrorize Chancellor Winters. Kane recognizes that the only way to permanently neutralize Billy is to destroy the very foundation of his argument. Embarking on a relentless, obsessive investigation, Kane dives deep into the labyrinthine historical archives of Chancellor Industries. Kane's exhaustive search is a journey into the ghosts of Genoa City's past, navigating the complex, often secretive dealings between titans like Catherine Chancellor and John Abbott. His persistence finally yields a monumental breakthrough, a discovery so explosive that it has the power to instantly rewrite the current corporate landscape. Hidden away in a mislabeled, heavily encrypted historical dossier, Kane unearths a fragile, decades-old document that changes everything. It is undeniable, irrefutable proof regarding the legendary loan John Abbott provided to save Chancellor from bankruptcy. The document clearly and unequivocally states that the financial obligation was, in fact, completely satisfied and repaid in full. The hidden document reveals that the repayment of the massive loan was not executed through a traditional transfer of capital or standard corporate banking channels. Instead, the debt was settled through a highly unconventional, deeply secretive method of compensation negotiated privately between the two families. This unorthodox settlement was legally binding and fully executed, permanently nullifying any future claims by the Abbott estate against Chancellor Industries. The sheer brilliance of this historical maneuvering leaves Kane momentarily breathless, realizing he is holding the ultimate weapon to destroy Billy's entire crusade. Yet, as Kane prepares to deliver this fatal blow, a chilling realization dawns upon him. The specific, unconventional method of that repayment implicates a previously unknown third party and a highly sensitive asset. By bringing this document into the light to defeat Billy, Kane realizes he is about to expose a much darker, far more dangerous conspiracy that has lain dormant for decades, leaving him standing on the precipice of a devastating revelation that could ignite an entirely new, uncontrollable inferno.